This episode of the Inside Running Podcast is proudly sponsored by the Sydney Marathon presented by ASICS. Join them this September in their bid to become an Abbott World Marathon Major. Be a part of history at sydneymarathon.com. Welcome to episode number 293 of the Inside Running Podcast. A massive welcome to this week's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving us some of your time. If you're about to go for a run, we've got a big show ready for you. There's world records to talk about, Australian all-comers records to talk about, a good listener question, some stuff to preview. It's all happening in episode 293. Welcome to my co-host. He's fresh. He's been on the beach for the last week, I think. Back in Victoria now, but been in Noosa. The only man we sent to the 2019 World Championships Marathon in Doha. Julian Spence, welcome to you this week.
Thanks, mate. You said I was fresh. What gives you that impression?
Weren't you on holiday?
Yeah, but I'm not fresh.
Okay.
Not fresh.
I thought you might have just... Yeah, I thought this was a full-on holiday, no work. You would have been good. Come back refreshed.
But I travelled with a toddler, and the toddler doesn't like sleeping outside like her set routine. So no sleep, or very little sleep for the trip, and then 7-hour delay on the way home with no hotel to kind of rest at. Like pretty long day. So you get back at like midnight, and then you're up at 5 a.m. because the baby wakes up early. So all of a sudden you've got barely any sleep again. Surely you understand this, don't you? You just travel by yourself now.
Yeah, travelling with children is very difficult. I'll give you that. You'd have to lug around all the stuff on the aeroplane and stuff. You know, you take the porta-cot, you take the pusher, the pram. You've got heaps of bags.
2 hours on a plane from Avalon to Sunny Coast. That feels like 6 hours in other normal time.
Yes.
It's so hard, and I'll be honest, Brady does a lot of it. I'm not good at it, but I'm still around, and it still just drains me so much. Okay. But it was good to get away, good to be on the beach for a little bit. Got issues with like my feet and ankle being all arthritic, and then being barefoot for a week. Just all sorts of issues from that.
I've never heard a bloke complain so much about being away on a holiday for a week. But anyway,
I don't travel well.
Let me introduce our other co-host. It's not Croaks. Croaks and I have done a swap this week. He's on road to Gold Coast, but it is someone from Canberra. Someone from Canberra that was in Tasmania yesterday when she set the women's 10K all-comers record. So I guess that's the fastest 10K road race ever ran on Australian soil. Her name's Leanne Pompeani. She was the Zatopek 10K winner and the World Cross Country representative. She ran 31:37 yesterday. Thanks for giving your time, and welcome to the Inside Running Podcast again, Leanne.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome.
I think that makes two of us that aren't fresh today.
Yeah, you had a big trip home as well. It would have been nice though, coming home with a course record. Some prize money. You get bonuses for those kind of times too, doesn't it? Come home a few dollars in your pocket.
Yeah. Richard was happy that I got the time, but sad that he had to pay me some more money.
That's funny, isn't it? They love the big, great fields, perfect for marketing. They just hate when their bets don't come in.
I was thinking that today when I was jogging though, like they're paying out a lot recently. Like Jess broke it last year. We've seen Brett and Jack do it. You know, Jack did the 10K and then Brett did the 10K. Brett did the half marathon. So the old course record bonuses are getting paid out pretty regularly.
Do you reckon they get insurance?
It's good.
I don't know. Not sure. Maybe.
Yeah. Just like, I think they do, because sometimes some races have done like $1 million prize if you break the world record. And
this isn't $1 million, isn't it? Like an extra 1,000.
But I reckon there's like there's insurance. We'll go, we'll back that in. Like, we'll take a punt on that. But yeah, I don't know. The flight home, Leanne, that's to Melbourne. You don't go straight to Canberra, do you?
Oh, Canberra is a pain. I love living in Canberra, but getting anywhere to and from, it's such a pain. Yeah, it's expensive. It's and takes a long time.
Yeah, having transfers, like, what do you come home on Monday or Sunday night?
Say Monday. Yeah. Wait.
Today?
Yeah. Today. I came home today.
Jeez. There you go, listeners. Just fresh off the plane, off the back of that course record and all-comers record. So we got you fresh. How you feeling? Are you still on a bit of a high, or like it's all sunk in?
Bit of a high. Like, obviously I'm proud of it. It's just, I mean, I think it wasn't too unexpected. To be honest, we were actually aiming for under 31:30. So to come that close, like, I'm super proud of it. And but just hopefully can keep ticking it off and getting faster without getting too greedy.
Yeah, no, it's good though. Going in the right direction. Do you want to take us? We'll go through your week first. Do you want to take us from your what's Monday through to Sunday look like of race week?
Oh yeah.
I haven't attempted to follow you on Strava because I know last time you were on it was like very locked down and you only allow a certain amount of people, and I just couldn't take getting like blocked after you allowed me to follow for once.
No, I think Brad still follows me,
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah. So you've got me. I think last time I spoke, I was also on a not full week of training. So you've got me again on not a full week of training, but so taper week. So Monday started off pretty much the same as usual. Just 1 hour in the morning with Aaron, my partner. 4:35 for that, and then we double in the afternoon for 30 minutes and do some strides. I usually do just 4 to 6 20-second strides. Tuesday morning, about an 8K double. So this will be my last double run. I usually do, if it's a weekend race, Tuesday is usually the last day I double. So 8K in the morning, and then in the afternoon we did a workout on the track. So I would normally do something similar to this, but almost double it. So, well, not double it, but so it was about a 6.5K session. We started off with we always start off with 2x200. It's something we've started doing in the past year. Like, before the actual workout starts, we just like getting a sort of, not an all-out 200, but just a solid 2x200 just to get the body warmed up before the workout.
So
is it like a stride? Is that like a stride, like a longer
Pretty
stride?
Much. Yeah. It's just because, like, sometimes it's hard just going straight into the workout without sort of, I don't know.
So you still do the strides, then do the 200, or that is what you use for strides?
A bit of both. So I'll do sort of maybe a couple of like 80-meter strides, and then we sort of gather together, do a 200 in like 36 seconds. So it's not fast, but it's just sort of like 35, 36 seconds, sort of the pace that we'll be going through 200 of a 400 rep.
Is this on the track? This is on the track?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. On the track there, so I find, that's just a good way to get warmed up before getting into the session.
That's a good idea.
It's a primer, isn't it, Moose? I think I've heard you talk about it before. Is that what you call it?
Oh, I'm not sure if I've called it that before, but I'm not sure of the physiological systems that are at play, but I'm pretty sure like it gets I'm not sure if I'm technical enough to explain it. But if you're doing it fast enough, then it's sort of, you use that, is it the like the creatine phosphate system or something to start with.
I've got no idea.
Yeah. Look, I'm
Whatever
not
you say
exactly
is
sure
correct
either.
here.
But I've always found that an extended stride just allows the first rep to feel so much better. And I reckon it's a great idea what you're doing.
Yeah, because I think otherwise sometimes I find myself like almost using the first rep. I mean, it's not a bad idea either. Not, not bad to do it this way, but almost using the first rep of the workout as the warm-up rep, whereas sometimes I don't want to be doing that. But anyway, yeah, the workout, we just had 1K in, it was very specific. It was 3:07 because that was 3:07 is the pace that I wanted to run on the weekend, just to sort of get a feel for it. So it was kind of like the 1K shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, so we did the 1K in 3:05. And then we just did one set of 8 400s on a 1:45 cycle. So I did them so normally I would do 2 sets of 8 to 10 of these. So this is where it sort of just got reduced. And I did those in 69 to 70 seconds. So I had about 35 seconds rest. I actually love doing 400s on short rest. I don't know why, but it's sort of the pace. My coach likes to do short rest sometimes so we don't go too fast. So it is quite a comfortable pace for me to do. And then took a break. Then it started pouring down. So I put my spikes on because I'm not a big fan of running in racing flats on a wet track. We just...
Sorry, are they those ASICS LD?
Yeah.
Metaspeed
LD.
Yeah. So they've got a fair bit of cushion for a spike, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, very cushion, and they don't actually have pins. They've got that kind of plastic waffle kind of bottom. Yeah.
They're the expensive ones, Moose, you were talking about on shoe decks, like $400.
Yeah.
Yeah, 400.
Good though, Leanne. You're not paying for them, I guess, and the ASICS connection there, but you recommend them? Vouch for it?
100%. Yeah. And a 10K, 100%, I would wear them over, spiked.
If you were allowed on the track, like if it was legal, would you wear them or would you wear the super shoe, the Metaspeed Sky or Edge?
Oh, I would wear the spikes. Yep.
Would you?
Because they're still quite cushioned, and I have the first time Aaron wore the spikes in the 10K, I think he wore it at Zatopek. No DOMs the next day or days after. Yeah. Something about, I don't know if it's pins that make the pins in spikes that make you sore or I don't know.
Like if you get up more on your toes and you get sore at calves.
I don't know. Yeah. So I put spikes on, just did 3 200s with just a slow 200 jog, and they were in 31 seconds. I'm not really, that's about as fast as I can go. I'm not
pretty fast.
Still moving, yeah.
I don't think I've ever run under 30 seconds for 200. So.
Neither have I. That's like if you think about what pace that is, it's
2:04 800. Do you reckon you could break 2:10 for an 800?
Oh, I don't know if I'd know how to run an 800, to be honest.
Just bang it the whole way and hope you got some legs left in the last 100.
Yeah. I should do a 1500 one of these days, though.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I do need to get into. I'm just too scared to.
Well, it's a pretty competitive event, especially in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be jumping straight in there.
No. I don't think I could keep up for one lap at Jess's pace. So, so cool down. Actually saw Brad at the track that night, which is unusual. Wednesday morning. So this was shorter. This was just 10K at 4:25s, and then I just did a 30-minute afternoon jog. And no double Thursday. So Thursday, my standard paper session would be 10-minute threshold and 4x200. So it's, nothing special there. I just did it at Stromlo at 320s, 320 pace.
Do you do it to a heart rate or to your pace?
I just do it to pace, really. I don't really trust my heart rate on the wrist.
Yeah.
That's all I use. So I generally do 320s for most things around Stromlo.
On the grass bit, on the grass loop.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the grass. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it pretty hilly? Pretty hilly?
It is. Yeah. Like it's not. If I was on, running on a bike path around the lake or something, I'm sure it'd be quicker.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much just effort based when we do anything around there. And then Friday, so Friday was 2 days before. So my standard sort of 2 days before would be a 30-30 split. So 30 easy in the morning, 30 easy in the afternoon. I find just doing a double is just, I don't know, feels a lot easier on the body than doing sort of a medium or even a long. I'm sure you sort of know that when you do like a long run, if you do it as like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like on the body, it's a lot harder to do a long run than splitting it.
Yeah,
the stress.
Yeah, definitely. And splitting it up, do you like what I've found is doing double runs? To me, I think a lot more about kind of my health during the day. So like my diet's a little better, and I'm drinking more. I'm so I'm hydrated. I'm resting a little more. It just makes me become a better athlete if I've got 2 sessions planned.
Yeah, I think you said that last week, and I 100%. Like when you have to run again, you're thinking about that run, so you want to be
Yeah, and it makes you feel like, to me, it makes me feel like more like an athlete. Cause coming from doing 2 a days for a long time, and then dropping back to only running once, it's almost like you feel lazy. And I know that you shouldn't feel like that, but it's
not not saying. That's not saying those out there that aren't doubling, you have to double. But
that's right. But when you're used to doing something at the end of the day, and then you knocked off your fitness at 8:30, it's like, all right, I'm done for the day. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And then Saturday, day before the race, just an easy. I just do 30 minutes and strides. I actually ordered a new pair of the Meta Speeds. So I just wanted a fresh pair to race in, but I accidentally ordered half a size too big. So I put them on for the strides just to make sure that they're okay. And they were fine. And then, and then race day. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, well, it was a bit difficult to see on the stream because you're surrounded by men, but it looked like you kind of got a bit of a break on Lisa. She was kind of there for the first 2 or 3K, but kind of not exactly on your shoulder, probably, a couple of people back. And then from then on, it was just you and, just mowing down as many guys as possible. And it looks like you ran, I'm not sure if that's the way it worked out, but just picking off almost sub-elite men as the race went.
I mean, it's pretty common for sub-elite men to go out a little bit too hard. That happens a fair bit, and then we sort of come back and catch them.
She's talking about you, Brady.
Hey, I was in this race last year. I ran 29.
You are a sub-elite man that goes out too hard.
Maybe, I don't want to be rude, but maybe sub-elite.
You got to be careful here, Moose. You and Leanne are racing in about 3 weeks' time at the Gold Coast for the half. I wouldn't be whipping off, Leanne's ability to take down sub-elite men.
I'm not talking about Leanne. I'm talking about you.
She'll take you down. We could put a slab on that. I reckon you still owe me a couple of slabs, but we could maybe add another one to it. Anyway, sorry, Leanne. Is that how it kind of panned out? And do you know there's because you kind of won pretty convincingly in the end, but do you ever get any feedback that that's the gap?
I had no idea, honestly, especially with Lisa, she's small, you can't really hear her anyway, so you don't know where she's sitting, where she's sort of, or if she's going to strike later. Des is always really big on, before we race this, he said, look, I know you want to run fast, but at the end of the day, I'd rather you just race it. And like, you probably want the win more than anything. So, but then I did think, well, I'm not going to run slower if, like, why would I run slower if I can run faster, why not run faster? And I did have, actually, so rewind to before the race. I was walking over to like the elite area before the race, and I bumped into Richard Welsh, who's the organizer, and he said, "Look, it's a beautiful day. Like it was a stunning day. It was like we knew it was a day that if we were going to try and run fast, it was going to be that day because there was absolutely no wind and the temperature was perfect for 10K running." He said, "If you're feeling good, go for the record. It's 31:43." So we kind of knew, and I'd already looked up sort of what paces, like I said, like 3:07s is quite a bit under 31:30. But yeah, so I kind of went out. I decided to go out. I think our first K was 3:07, so it kind of set me up well. In the past, we definitely, it's so easy to get dragged along by the men and take the first K out in like 3:01, 3 minutes, which is way too quick for me. So I think that first K kind of set the pace for me. Once I looked down and so I decided to put K splits on just to sort of keep me, I wanted a little bit of feedback. Yeah, and once I saw 3:07, I was like, okay, let's just try and hold this pace. But you're right, I didn't know where any of the females, I didn't know who was coming with me or, even after 5K, I thought Lisa is always in good shape when she runs, so she could come flying past me at any point.
Yeah, and she tends to, kind of train hard and then race when she's at the top of her fitness too. Like you rarely see a poor performance from Lisa. Like when she comes to race, she's usually in shape. Yeah. So you look at the Ks every time it beeps, or like you just occasionally?
No, occasionally, yeah. I just keep it there just to sort of, and like I was planning to look at the clock. I think they had a clock, or even just look down at 5K just to see where I was tracking. So I really didn't know. But yeah, totally forgot. Just not a bad thing. And the 4-kilometer marker was actually missing, which was nice because I hadn't seen it for a while, and I thought, oh, surely, like this is a really long K. And then to see us get to the 5K, it's like such a relief that you'd actually gone further than we thought.
Do you know what you went through halfway in?
I actually did rewatch the race. I had a lot of time on my hands on Sunday afternoon. It was about 16 minutes.
Okay.
But I didn't
Negative
at the time.
split.
I didn't know.
Was there a headwind on the way out?
Slightly, but I think it's slightly uphill on the way out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You kind of got that dip.
Yeah.
Have you ran at Launceston before, Moose?
No, but I heard I heard the commentators saying that it was a headwind and uphill on the way out, like you said just then, Leanne. But is the 10K course like go out halfway of the half marathon course? Is that how it works?
Nah, the probably the last 5K of the half marathon course is where the 10K goes out and back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But when we say hill, we're talking like a Chukamoama Hills here. Like it's not. It's definitely not a hill.
It's just a very slight incline.
It actually looks on the stream. It looks way hillier than it actually is. It's a great course when it's not windy. But you can imagine what it's like when it's windy. You got headwind and a huge tailwind.
Yeah, and like I said, like I think, I mean, a lot of people ran quick yesterday. A lot of PBs went down. Yesterday was the day. Like I just wanted to take advantage of the good weather and feeling good. So
good.
Do you reckon you could have gone faster? Do you reckon you switched it off a little bit towards the end, or you?
I was sort of thinking about this. Like, there's probably a little bit more room. I think, as in to have gone faster in parts. Obviously coming towards the end, there was sort of no pressure on me. So maybe there could have been some room for. In saying that, like I was sort of thinking about last year's race. So last year's race was when Jess Denson ran 31:49 for the record.
Yeah.
and a massive difference between my last kilometre last year and my last kilometre this year. Because I think the first 5K of both years was the same, but just the difference was, I think my last K last year was like close to a 3:20 because I blew up pretty hard, whereas this year it was a 3:06. So a big difference to be able to hold that pace.
Sure, you're like designated pacer as well. Like I had a bit of a laugh when I heard the stream. They were like, "Oh, the females don't need a pacer because there's so many sub-elite men in the field, but they just get in the way most of the time. Probably, as you said, don't pace you." Like they were kind of saying you don't need one because they just sit on perfect pacing from those guys, but they could be a hindrance more than a help.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to bash them too much, but
bash them, Leanne. Let's go.
Sometimes they are a bit of a hindrance. Like sometimes they're obviously hurting, so they decide to sit on you, and they start clipping you. Yeah, they start sort of clipping you, and their pacing is kind of all over the shop. Like even like yesterday, it was just you'd be in a pack, then you'd be by yourself, and then you'd be in a pack again. You don't know if it's you that's changing the pace or it was a little bit all over the shop, but definitely would much rather have that many people just around rather over no one.
What about elite only women's race moves? Do you reckon we'll see it sometime? Like just send 10 of the top 10 seed women off, you know?
Yeah,
5 minutes before, like they kind of do it, run the bridge.
Run the bridge, yeah, I was thinking that. You just need a deep field for that, don't you?
You do.
Yeah.
And the fields aren't deep enough at the moment to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, with the half marathon there now too.
I think you'd be a bit lonely out there.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, and at least you got people to pick off on the way home when there's guys popping.
Yeah, like I said, like it's not actually, when they're sort of, they can be a hindrance, but also helpful because you can sort of, chase them down.
Yeah. Then what happens, it was a bit of a late start, I think, like up past 10 or 10:15 for the 10K. And like, what's the rest of your day look like in Tassie? You get out for a shakeout run in the afternoon or go to the pub or what do you do?
Yeah, I did an 8.5K cool down, which is, I wouldn't normally bother even, going half that far. But just because we got the half coming up in 3 weeks, just sort of want to still get a few Ks in. That was all dependent on how I was feeling. And yeah, honestly, not much. I bumped into Richard's crew. They were all celebrating. So I had to sit down and chat with them for a bit. But apart from that, just rest. I didn't get out for another jog.
Yeah. And now between now and Gold Coast, just train or any other races? It's going to come around quick, isn't it?
I know, it's only 3 weeks. So by the time you sort of get, so no races. By the time you get, put in a taper week there, it's only 2 weeks really. And I probably won't do, so normally I do a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday session in my weeks. And I likely won't do one tomorrow because, I don't know, my coach likes, if I race on a Sunday, he prefers me not do a session on Tuesday and just wait until Thursday, just jog, just run, and then, work hard again on Thursday.
You'd be nodding along to a lot of this, wouldn't you, Moose? Some smart training.
Yeah, it's good to hear, like, respect for the distance and respect for the effort. I think that's what's missing in a lot of the training we see is, like, a hard race getting almost like kind of just swept under the carpet for a hard session on Tuesday.
Because it's
like,
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, well, we do a workout. Well, we're not going to wait till Thursday, so let's just do a workout Tuesday. And like, to me, I'm all for that.
Yeah, risk versus reward.
Yeah,
it's still running, right?
Yeah,
like you're training.
Like you're not going to lose. Yeah,
you're not losing fitness. Yeah. How many Ks for the week, Leanne? Do you know? What was your number?
It was 118 for race week. So that's probably not near what I've been doing, what I do on a full week, but 118 for race week I'm okay with that.
And then goals for this half marathon at the Gold Coast? Like you started thinking about a time or talking about your half marathon PB off air? Like that's got to take a huge chunk off it off the back of this 10K.
Hopefully. I mean, I did think that. I thought if I can race well at Launceston, hope that sort of gives me a bit of confidence for the half. We haven't really spoken about it. Obviously, like my coach, he's just excited because he keeps messaging me and he keeps saying like, "Oh, it's going to be a good race. Like the half is going to be such a good race because we know, like, Izzy will be back. Obviously, she was a late pull out there 'cause she got sick, came down sick overnight. But I'll be racing against Lisa again, Ellie. I mean, I won't be surprised if some of the US ASICS women come over for it, because they have in the past. Like I'm talking like
Sarah Hall and Lindsay Flanagan and that. Yeah,
Lindsay. Yeah, she did. I saw her early in the year, and she did say something like she might be coming over for the half. So it's just going to be a really good race. Obviously, I want a PB. My PB is, well, I ran it at Melbourne Half Marathon, which isn't certified, which I found out afterwards. I thought it was, but it isn't. I don't know what my official PB is actually. What is it?
It's 71.47 from the Sunshine Coast in 2019, according to your World Athletics profile.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be it. That'd be the only, certified one. Yeah, so I mean, I'll say it. I probably want to try and run in the 68. We'll see how it goes. It's double the distance, so.
Yeah, but you got strength though. Like, the cross-country stuff, the Zatopek stuff, the pacing at over in Japan. Like, yeah, it's not like a 5K girl jumping up to the 10K occasionally and then you've got to jump to the half.
Yeah, I mean, I think half might even be sort of my sweet spot. But we'll see. 68, 69, something. I don't know. PB would be nice.
That's it. Watch this space in 3 weeks' time in front of Moose. Moose, good segue for you. What's your week looked like? How are you? You got any all-comer records you set over the weekend?
Yeah, records. Well, I've never set records.
You had some kind of record, wouldn't you, in Ballarat or something?
You used to have the marathon records.
You used to have the Great Ocean Road marathon record.
Yeah, what?
Bogon Hotham, you still got that one, or someone taken that?
I don't think they've run that since I did it.
That's good for you.
Yeah, I know, real good. Except no one knows about it anymore.
Yeah,
it's only old people that know about it, and they've fallen down. I was in Noosa, obviously, so I first run. What's this picture?
There's a picture of me here, Moose. My team Shibuya.
What is this anyway? I screenshotted this, but I actually didn't know what I was screenshotting here.
Good work on the Lululemon promotion on your Strava. How many followers you got?
Can you just run me through this?
This was, so for the listeners who aren't on Patreon, because I explained this on Road to Gold Coast last week.
Yeah, see, I haven't listened to it yet.
I went over to Japan with Lululemon for like this Asia Pacific, it was called a Stride event. So it was pretty cool. There were 6 Australians who went over from Australia, and geez, they looked after us really well. And we the whole weekend was based around this run experience from one side of Tokyo to the other. It was like 6 or 7K, and they put us in like random teams named after suburbs in Tokyo. And this photo that I'm looking at is the team I was on, Team Shibuya. And there was a lot of posing for photos, stopping for photographers along the courses. Very much, you would have found it difficult, I think, to pose for that many photos. But
you didn't?
I did. I said on the other show, I felt like I was a bit of a imposter because I reckon I was probably the only person in the room that had less than 70,000 followers on Instagram. And being a school teacher from Echuca Moama with my like little 3,000 following I have on Instagram, I definitely felt like a bit of a fish out of water, but very grateful for the opportunity to travel to Tokyo and kind of be a part of this event because they looked after me so well. I was saying on the other show, like, flew me business and we stayed in an awesome hotel and, got a few, like, presents and stuff along the way. And I think in the past, these kind of trips have been reserved for, like, influencers and models and people in the fitness industry. So I was kind of grateful that they took a common man, blue-collar runner like me, Moose. And here you are taking the piss out of me with this photo on your Strava.
Why do you think I'm taking the piss out of you?
I just think you were. I'm like, look at this guy. He's just I think you can maybe tell that I'm a bit awkward in that photo. That's why.
Look how happy. I've never seen you so happy.
Yeah, so
just in Tokyo, away from your family. Living the best life.
It was a work trip. That's how I was explaining it to Carly. Yeah. So that was a team of Japanese guys I was in with there. hadn't met any of them before that, and none of them could speak English. So it was quite interesting how we got from one end of Tokyo to the other. But good fun.
I mean, let's just sort of like run through it a little.
Yeah.
We got the trip for Lululemon, so they were there to promote their running range, or to what's the whole idea of it?
Well, it was a run experience, but not so much.
What does that mean? What does that? Brady, you're a runner. Tell me what a run experience is.
Well, I guess it was more like not so much to promote their running gear, but maybe like to just promote the brand to like broad ranges of audiences. So like on our trip of 6, there was kind of 3 of us who are ambassadors. So like me in the running, Ryan Mannix, who's big in the yoga world, and then the other person was Montana Farah-Seaton, I think her name is. I think I got her last name right there. And she's like, does some ultra stuff and fitness industry and boxing and stuff like that kind of thing. And then there was 3 kind of influencers, content creators from Australia as well. So, the whole idea was to send the 6 of us there to then get exposure to kind of like 6 different markets, with running being the event we were doing. Not so much like there wouldn't have been, and like I think some of the Asian countries just went heavy with like 6 influencers that they'd kind of send. There was like a K-pop star there who had her own like security and content created like crew and things like that as well. So it was interesting to see. And obviously Lululemon's not just a running brand, so they got all those different markets across the range. But it was good. It was a bit of an eye-opener to see how those people operate and like how they make their videos, and like, you kind of watch the promo videos that come out of it, and then you see it when you're there, and like they do such a good job at cutting it and making it look clean, and but very much not a running performance weekend. Saw a lot of billboards with Jess Stenson on it though. She's big in Japan, big with the brand.
She's got to be their best athlete.
Oh, for sure. Sure. Commonwealth Games gold medalist. So,
well, their best running athlete. Like, what other sports do they do?
Yoga. Like, yoga's where they started.
Yeah, yoga and looking cool. But what else?
I'm not sure, actually, what other sports they're in. Oh, actually, they're just getting into golf now, I think.
Yeah.
Golf as well.
That's a good sport to get
Golf's
into.
a good sport.
A lot of money.
And good, clean product, mate. So I reviewed their product on the show before. It's very comfortable stuff. So,
this is really interesting as like a runner looking at this and thinking, like, I was probably mistaken at the start. I thought this is trying to promote or trying to build credibility with the brand with runners, like as a running brand. And so like the running community goes, oh, they're not just a yoga company. They actually make legit running gear. Look, they're in the running community, which like you've explained that this wasn't that at all. And so that's why I was maybe a little harsh on it. Seeing like, why would you send over a comedian who doesn't run to promote your running range?
Yeah.
Do you see like where like, and as like interesting to get Leanne's thoughts on it as someone who has recently signed a contract, to see all this money getting thrown around Leanne by a major sporting brand trying to get into running, like supporting content creators and not athletes. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they supported me as an athlete.
It's funny
I was the athlete.
Well, you're an athlete.
Yeah, I know. I'm not in the same ballpark as Leanne. I know what you mean, though.
There was 6 of them.
There were 6 of them.
You were the only athlete.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to athlete, probably the only other athlete I think of when I think of Lululemon is what's her name? Colleen Quigley.
Oh yeah.
Steeple Squigs.
I always just think of them as their Instagram
handle.
Yeah. Colleen Quigley. They obviously, I imagine they would pump a lot, give her a lot, because she was probably one of their first runners. I don't know.
Nikki Hiltz as well. Nikki Hiltz is Lululemon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is between the US based and whatever, but and also that they don't have a shoe at the moment. I think they're working on one.
They got a female only shoe at the moment, Leanne. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you're right. It is hard to sort of look at people that just, I don't know, do social media as a job and get. I mean, maybe I should get good at social media or something. I don't know.
I think it's been a frustration of Brady, even you in the past, right? When brands look after we'll call them influencers,
Yeah, like
right?
we teed off on like Nike sending Sam Newman like, alpha flies and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we copped a bit off that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, because I love their gear, and I love that they're supporting like Jess and obviously you. How much you get paid?
I'm not going to go into my contract with Lululemon Moose. But in saying that, like, I don't think a guy like me would ever, in the past, would get a seat at this table. So, like, although we were only 1 out of 6, it's better than 0 out of 6.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and they were very good because I was pretty honest with them in the first 24 hours. I'm like, I don't feel like I kind of belong here, like I shouldn't be here kind of thing. I'm just a hack from, Chukwuemeka. And they're like, no, your job's here because we want, people deep in the running community, that cross-country vibe, that, blue-collar, froth running kind of vibe is why you're here. You don't have to have 250,000 followers because you do what you do. And that other guy can do the 250 followers thing. Which in the past they would have just... Well, I'm not sure about that brand, but I think a lot of brands wouldn't engage with someone like me because my following's not huge.
So, Leanne, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
1,800.
1,800, yeah. And you're like our best road racer at the moment.
Australian all-comers record.
That's right. So, like, let's say Lululemon goes, oh, yeah, we're going to go and build running credibility and we're going to go to Tokyo and do this event, all right. And we're going to take our best. Say they go, all right, Leanne, you're our girl. Like, we're going to look after you. ASICS is outbid here. Lululemon steps in. 1,800 followers, and you've got what, Brady, 3,000 or something?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to reach anybody. No. They're going to have 6 really good runners.
You need to have
It's like it's been playing on my mind a lot. I'm like, it's like it doesn't make any sense to send 6 really good runners that don't reach.
Yeah.
As much as like the hardcore runner would love that and go, fuck, I like this company for doing this. It's a waste of their money. It's hard to deal with because it's just how our sport is, and I guess it's how the world is now.
And I think that realization's it's probably what hit me when I was over there. Like the longer I was over there, the more that realization kind of hit me. And they're actually like I know we lip off influencers and stuff all the time, but they're kind of people behind their Instagram accounts, and most of them are very friendly and just trying to create stuff in their own way as well.
It's their job, isn't it? Like, they got to get paid. They got to pay rent just like we have to pay rent.
Yeah. It's kind of... I don't know how... it'd be interesting to look into how they do manage the finances and what campaigns they kind of jump from, year in, year out, and other projects they have going on. But, it's an interesting space, but very cool. Very cool experience over the weekend. And they kind of said that as well. They're like, if we put 6 different people... you kind of got to get out of your comfort zone to get to know them a bit. Like, it felt like going on a bit of a school camp when you knew nobody. But then
a business class flight to a 5-star hotel in Tokyo school camp.
Yeah, you should have seen me, mate. I was like taking photos and sending them to Carly. I'm just like, I'm never going to be in this part of the aeroplane again.
I don't think that was a great idea.
I know, yeah. Didn't go down real well. But it was a work trip, if anyone asks. But anyway, this is your Monday. We don't need to be talking about me in detail here. We've got a guest coming in about 25 minutes, and we've got about 30 races we need to recap. So we will talk about Lululemon in a bit, though, when we talk about the Gold Coast Live Show.
Yeah, well, I ran at 9, so I don't know why I ran that late, but I did. Maybe Bree ran first. It was 42 minutes. Just did the, Tanglewood Loop, call it the Basic Bitch Loop, because that's where everyone takes their photos off that path and puts them on Instagram. That afternoon, ran 35 minutes. I just ticked a box here. Just stayed a bit flatter, ran around some roads and stuff. Next day, did a workout. So Brad Wow, not sure how you pronounce his surname. I've always guessed it. Wuer.
He's the owner of the Sunshine Coast Running Company, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So he came in, drove up, and we did a workout. So I wanted to get some speed in my legs, but I also wanted it to be a little bit more of like aerobic as well. So I did 15 by 45 seconds solid, 45 seconds jog. So it's not a massive workout. It was 21, I don't know what, 21:50 long. Probably doesn't work out math-wise. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I had to work into this. So I started at probably 3:05, 3:10, and then by the end I was running 2:50s. Takes a while to get going. Just like probably should have done some strides at the start. But it felt okay. Like, it wasn't great. A lot of concrete up here. Warm up on concrete, workout concrete, cool down concrete. Didn't run that afternoon. Ran the next day 9K. Did a bit of an extended loop. Found a single track through the national park, which I don't think I was supposed to be on, but went and checked it out, and then ended up at the top of this hill. Jesus, it's steep. Like, it was the steepest hill I reckon I've ever seen. Like, extended hill. And so I tried to jog down it, and I just couldn't. It was just too much stress or force on my knees. So I just turned and walked backwards down it. It was pretty embarrassing because there was a bunch of tradies working on one of the building sites, and I was just like backwards hiking down the hill. Not impressive looking athlete coming towards them. That afternoon I just did a Tanglewood loop again. Then I did a longer run. Well, for me it was a bit longer, 14.5K through the park, down to Sunshine Beach, and then back through the back end of kind of sunny Sunshine Beach and Noosa. Actually, Mona said if I found the wooden paths. I definitely hadn't found the wooden paths. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I did a workout the next day. Alex Harvey, he's a guy who used to live in Torquay. He's moved up there. He was second in the half marathon to Kieran Perkins at Noosa like 2 weeks before this, I think it was. He was doing a workout. He was doing a threshold. I thought I'd jump in to that because he was going to do a double threshold day. So the first workout of the day was supposed to be pretty cruisy. But he decided to do just one workout for the day. So we went a little harder on his last reps anyway. We just went up and down this one road. So it's 2K down the road. So we did 2K reps. First rep was 3:16, 3:16, 3:20, 3:17, 3:18. But it wasn't threshold. Like, my heart rate got up quite a bit higher than threshold. Pretty much on every rep, I reckon I went over. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure whether it was my fitness or it wasn't hot, so I can't blame the heat.
Humid though?
It's a bit muggier than like Anglesey, that's for sure. What was it, like 16, humidity 94%. Perhaps I can blame that a little bit, but I at the moment, I reckon my heart rate's just way higher than normal, but my perception of effort's lower. So I was like a few gears underneath where I needed to be here. Like, I could have gone faster and harder if I wanted, but I didn't want to. I wanted to sit back and stay at an effort that felt right. But my heart rate was showing at a lot higher. So I got that actually at a lot of the workouts lately have been like that. So I'm sort of ignoring it a little bit. I don't think it's as dangerous as Croaks, ignoring his high heart rate. But yeah, this one feels sort of fine. So I'm going to just sort of ignore the heart rate stuff a little bit because I'm just basing my threshold off a number that I got when I did a test like 3 years ago now. So I don't think it's as accurate as it could be. So I'd rather use effort as the real answer or the variable. The next day, I found out the flight was delayed, so I decided to run in the morning. I was planning on running when I got home. Ran 52 minutes, just concrete the entire fucking way, like the entire way. And by that stage, I'm like, just get me on some dirt paths. I'm done with concrete. Like, I don't know how you do it up there, Brady, running so much concrete.
No, I got heaps of bush up here. I don't.
You don't? All right.
No, I run heaps of bush. Only when it's dark in the mornings and can't see because I don't have a headlamp yet. But yeah, I was the same being in Tokyo for 3 days.
Oh yeah, that's
I gotta
hard
get
work.
home. Yeah,
that is so much fucking.
You miss
concrete.
it, don't you? When you that first run back home, you're like, oh, how good's this crunching noise?
If I wouldn't run, if I lived in a place like Noosa or the Gold Coast, I'm not sure I could be a runner. I don't get enjoyment for running on hard concrete on the side of roads.
This topic just rolls around every 12 months when it's Gold Coast Marathon time. I love it.
Gee, they copper hiding. What about you, Leanne? Do you do a bit on concrete or do you always head for dirt?
Most is dirt, just because, it's so accessible here in Canberra. But you're right. Even that just made me think of the Nagoya Marathon.
Yeah.
And I could not imagine. I mean, doing the full thing on, because their roads aren't asphalt either. And what I've been told is that concrete, actual concrete, is harder on the body than asphalt.
Yeah.
So doing a full or just all running on concrete, it would beat your body up so much.
You get sore from it. You just get way more DOMs. I'm coming back sore. So I was actually feeling pretty average on the long run the next day. We did a few hills. It was an hour 53. We definitely didn't really run that fast. That's not too bad actually, but actually now that I look at it, that's a decent pace for how bad I felt. We went up a big hill and then sort of ran down it on a trail and then finished on some dirt roads. So it was a decent group. What was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 or 8 of us in it. nearly 25, and I ran up for the week. What did I run? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, 1:17.
Yeah, cool. Done.
What time are you going to run at Gold Coast in 3 weeks, Moose? Leanne's told us 68.xx. What are you going to run?
60. Yeah, I reckon I could be around that. It depends. It's not a fitness thing for me right now. It's definitely, there's still a fitness thing, but for me, I'm day to day in how my body feels when I wake up. I'm just sore. My joints are kind of stiff and creaky. So I need to start feeling good again. And that, I might feel good in a week when I get back to some routine, running on dirt and not being on the beach all day, which although you laugh at me complaining about that, fuck, that's hard on the body.
It's different, isn't it, to what you've been doing? Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, I have the stiffest ankles ever, and I am never barefoot. I wear a lot of big Maximal shoes. So when you get me barefoot for 6 hours a day, my ankles are fucked. And my feet are stiff planks. So I'm sort of recovering from the beach. That sounds ridiculous, but that's what it's like when you're old.
I was fascinated. I'm not sure if you listened to last week's show with Ali Leanne, but this whole you're going to be in the pack, but you kind of use those strategies to get Ali fired up, but you're also going to be pushing yourself at a level that's probably close to your maximum fitness level. So are you just going to switch off in the race and just watch what happens and not coach from the side of the pack, or what are you going to do? It seems very.
I think it's.
I don't know. Yeah,
I reckon I've got a slight moral issue with being in a pack like that as a coach. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's an awkward position for you to be in.
Yeah, I want to stay out of the race. The race shouldn't be influenced by somebody else. So, no, I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm going to. It'll be cool if my race plays out where I'm in that same pack, I'll get to watch it up close, but I'm not going to do any, I won't play any part in pacing or anything like that. So I'll just like to watch. And I mean, if I don't know how my fitness will be. I might not even be able to keep up. I'm just really interested in watching the race from close. That sounds interesting to me. And if the race goes out as what Leanne predicts it will, with that sort of with that sort of pace, then I'll be struggling off the back to keep up.
Going to be fascinating. You'll be recapping it at the live show, so that'd be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm going to whip through this week real quick because it's going to be a big show otherwise. Monday, complete day off. We landed back from Tokyo at about 9:30am in Sydney. Then I didn't get back to Echuca till about 4pm. So I picked Hudson up from daycare, which was good because he wasn't expecting me. So good to see him after being away for a couple of days. Tuesday, I did the old Kenyan fartlek, 20 times 2 minutes quicker than marathon pace, 1 minute float. So I kind of hovered around 3:12 pace for the 2 minutes and floated for the 1 minute at 3:40 pace, which gave me 60 minutes at 3:18s. I've done this workout a bit over the years in a marathon block, and it's one of those ones if you get it wrong, you kind of blow up pretty quick and you can just never recover in those 1 minute efforts. And because I'm building fitness, I suppose, so I'm kind of just dialing back how aggressive I do workouts at the moment with the main focus on just trying to finish them. So that was my goal, to just, whatever happened, complete the whole hour. And I had this 15-minute loop, which I just did 4 times. And it actually was pretty good. Maybe having the day off completely. Monday was good for the legs, felt good. No blow up. A good sign of this workout is the last 15 minutes was just as hard as the first 15 minutes. So I was happy to get that done. 7k in the afternoon, Tuesday at 4:36s. Wednesday, I did 14k in the rain at 4:35s. And then after work, I did 7k on the treadmill. Ran on the treadmill a bit in Japan and kind of liked the heat gains you get on the treadmill. And it was hammering down rain outside, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go to the gym, run the treadmill for 35 minutes. So that was good. Thursday, easy 12k in the morning at 4:28, and then 10k and strides after work at 4:27 pace. Friday, I was doing a workout Sunday, so probably too big of a gap between the Tuesday and the Sunday. I didn't want to go in too fresh for the Sunday. I wanted to hit it with some fatigue in the legs. But I also didn't want to do another big workout considering my Tuesday and my Sunday was going to be pretty big. So I did 20k, kind of steady. I averaged 3:44 pace. It felt all right. I don't mind that steady jogging. Croaks kind of talked me into it a couple of months ago. And once you kind of lock into it, it just makes 20k go super fast. Because it's usually I'm jogging along at 4:30 pace, but you do it at 3:44 pace. You're home 15 minutes earlier. So that was good. 7k.
What's the pace, right?
Mm.
It's what they would sort of refer to as classic kind of grey zone stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to me, why did you pick that pace and why do you pick that workout to do?
Well, I picked that workout because I don't think it was a workout for starters. So I had 3x7k on the Sunday and then that 60-minute fartlek on the Tuesday. So I didn't know what workout I could put in there that wouldn't kind of put me over the limit for my week. I don't think I could put a 20-minute fartlek in there. I think that would be just too much. And I'd already kind of done a fartlek anyway. Maybe could have done some thresholdy stuff, maybe a couple of 5-minute reps, maybe. But really, this was just I just wanted to fatigue the legs before I hit the Sunday. And it felt
so
like it was just
for fitness.
No, the purpose was, hey, I didn't want to be too fresh for Sunday. I just want to, put some fatigue in the legs so I'm not almost tapering for the Sunday workout 3 weeks out. But I also didn't want to put another intense workout into it that then I'd risk being over the limit and potentially getting injured. So yeah.
It's an interesting one. It's you call it a B grade or C. Give it the A workouts, which is your Sunday workout. B, which might have been your Tuesday, and this is what we call a C.
Yep, spot on. And I've got two, I think a 60-minute fartlek is pretty high stress, and then 3x7k is pretty high stress. So I've already got 2 A's in this week.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to put a B in, and I was this really, and I'm talking, 0 meters elevation gain. It's very much getting down to 3:44 pace wasn't that hard.
Do you wear a heart rate for that?
Nah, I never wear a heart rate, and I've kind of turned it off on my watch. I probably should put it on occasionally, but and it was literally first K in 4:15, and then just work it down a bit, and then just kind of lock into it. So that was all right, and then but pretty big mileage day because then 7k after work, so a 27k day. Saturday I did the 16k and 7k double, and then I did 3x7k at what I'm calling goal marathon pace, like breaking 2:20 pace. So like that 3:18 to 3:19 kind of K pace with 2K float around 3:40s. So all up 27K, 3:23s. Felt much easier than last time I did this with Toby, because we were kind of running like 3:12s, 3:13s last time we did it before Valencia, and this pace was just a bit more comfortable. I just got like notes here in my diary though, and I'm sure you'll find this when you move to the marathon, Leanne. Like these workouts are so awkward. I think you're good at them, Moose. Like you seem to be able to know what that feeling is. And even though I've done like 7 marathons, I still rock up to these workouts and I'm like, the pace isn't that hard, but it's hard enough that it tires your legs, but you feel not like you're not working, like you feel like you're not doing a workout in a way. It's very hard to explain. And then you get to the end of it and it's like, there's no way I could do 42K at that pace, but maybe I could do another 7K at that pace. Like, yeah, it's a very weird, because you're hitting them so tired. It's a very weird feeling, what we call marathon pace in training.
They're a tough workout because you mentally, like it's just hard to focus like that in training for so long, because you have no motivation to stay so concentrated. Whereas in the marathon, it's still hard to focus in an actual race as well because of how long it goes. But in training, it's even worse. And so without the motivation to stay focused, once you start losing concentration in these, you sort of like you feel disengaged. And when you're disengaged from this and it starts to hurt, the hurt's compounded because you've got no motivation to hurt. And you're in your head, you're thinking, no, this is supposed to be easy. Like this is a 7K rep. I've got to run 6 of these in the marathon. Like, why is this hurting too much? And it's mental trickery. So I actually am no good at these because I lose focus too quickly. I need someone around me for these workouts to do them well, like have someone on a bike to sort of keep you engaged to the workout. Whereas these solo are very difficult.
Yeah, well, I had Nath Stote. Nath came over and we kind of I took the first 7K, he took the next one, then we split the third one. So it was good having someone around, but more so like if someone, it would almost be easier if someone said, hey, just start rolling 305s now or roll 330s. It's just like you can just go, okay, now I can open up and I don't have to be like, am I going easy? Am I going slow? Like they're weird. I just find them weird.
That's why so many people struggle at the marathon because they're not patient enough to go, this is uncomfortable, but I've got to stay here for my own good right now.
Yeah. And I'm so scared, like after Valencia, like I was saying to Nathan, I'm like, we need to hit these, like slower is almost better. Like and when we're in the last rep, I was like, think of this this is 19K to 25K of the race, not at your last 7K of the workout. So we don't need to kick it home. It's like we want to practice that. Stay patient. Just keep kind of ticking them off.
Because if you're given, say like you prescribe this to a athlete and you say 3x7K at marathon pace, but what marathon pace in the first 20 minutes of the race is a marathon effort, I mean. So if you say I'll run them at marathon effort, first 7K in a marathon is fucking easy. You're jogging. Whereas if you say the last 7K of a marathon is that marathon effort, that's really, really hard. Things are super difficult. So like you have to almost give more specific instruction. Make the first 7 feel like 10 to 17K kind of ish. Make the second 7 feel like 20 to 27. And you're allowed to feel like the last 7 is like 30 to 37 kind of stuff. Do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I said to Nath when we started the first one, I'm like, we got to get this first 7K for free. Like we don't want to like push the envelope. We don't need to be running 315s here. Like can we simply tick off 318s, 319s and have as little effort as possible? But yeah, I like that thinking of breaking the effort up, what the different reps are, because that's kind of how it feels. Because the mental fatigue that comes in that last rep as well, because you kind of know it's the last rep.
And it's good if you're going into a hilly race or a hot race where you can't really lock into paces as much, to be able to sort of have instruction on what you want to feel like for the workout. because, like, say you go to a hot marathon, say Leanne makes Paris and it's hot and it's going to be 32. There's no, like, are you going to go out and train at the pace that she might be able to run? Say she can run 3:20s, but the actual race, and she's training in the heat, you can't run 3:20s. So how do you, it's like, it's very difficult to work out. So you kind of need to dial in the feels.
Yeah. Shall we move on? Anyway, that was 161k with a day off. So we're going all right. 3 weeks to go. Leanne, have we given you a colour to read from these show notes yet?
Not yet.
What colour did you do last time you were on?
I can't remember
That's
here.
right. You can be green if that's okay.
Green,
That's Croaks' normal number, but you'll probably red colour, but you'll probably red last time, so I've just confused you a bit. But we're going to thank some Patreon supporters, and then we're going to whiz through some results, and then we've got Jimmy quickly coming in for a chat about the Sydney Marathon. Anyway, Moose, kick us off. Who are you thanking for Patreon?
Yeah, I have Ruben Jensen. So from Norway, of course. Follows Christian. So is there anyone who doesn't follow Christian?
Popular man.
We hope he's the right guy. He's got a 10K PB of 36:12 at the 2022 run for Greta. You reckon that's Greta? They got that famous Greta. What's her name?
Or was it Great? Like crate, but a G instead.
I thought there was a
See
famous
where I'm going
Norwegian runner called Greta. Anyway, it's part of the Oslo Marathon, and he is the chief operating officer.
Yep.
Yes, and co-founder at Axes. Axes aims to contribute to the increased competitiveness of businesses through data-driven business development and innovation. Fucking hell. All right.
Smart.
That just went in and out.
Yeah. What does that do, though? Like, imagine introducing yourself saying, oh, yeah, we contribute to increasing competitiveness of businesses through data-driven business development. But, yeah.
Greta Waits, you're thinking of, Moose.
Greta Waits, yeah.
Silver medalist at the LA Olympics. Gold at Helsinki World Championships over the marathon.
Very good runner.
What's that? 6 by World Cross Country gold medals, 2 bronze. She's good. She's a real deal. She's won New York Marathon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She won New York Marathon 9 times.
She's the GOAT of New York.
Yeah, London twice, Stockholm once.
You reckon this event was for her?
I think so. Greta? I'm putting 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I reckon we'll nail that.
Who are you thanking for us, Leanne?
Joseph Holton from London. Is that what that's saying there?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
15:26 in March at the Friday Under the Lights 5K at Battersea Park. 32:43 at the 2022 Essex 10K. And 70:08 at this year's Cambridge Half. And 2 hours 30:48 at the 2022 London Marathon. Runs for Fulham Running Club, and he might be program lead at EFT Utilities Group, gas and electricity.
Another smart title, isn't it,
for
Joseph?
Yeah.
He's in the office. He ain't a plumber. He's not an electrician. So do you, look at those times? What's your PB for 5K, Leanne?
15:19.
All right. So, look, Joseph's not far off that, but, geez, it backs off as he gets longer out.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. 2:30. You wouldn't be happy with 2:30, would you?
Oh, look. I wouldn't want to retire with a 2:30. It's not bad running. It's good running.
I'll tell you about a blue-collar worker, Moose. Samuel McMahon from Cherrybrook, New South Wales. Real blue-collar job because he's a primary school teacher.
Oh.
And also a freelance cricket coach with cricket appeal, which is pretty common because teachers get paid so little in their wages. You've got to have another job to be able to support your mortgage and things like that. Yeah, so a bit of a side hustle. Studied at Macquarie University. Couldn't find many running results on him, but there is a Samuel McMahon who has a best of 21:17 at the Southern Highlands Botanical Gardens Park Run, and has also run 44:32 at the 2022 Blackmoors Bridge Run. So I hope that's you, Samuel, and a massive thank you for your Patreon support. Massive thanks also to Ruben and Joseph for this week, and all the other legends over there on Patreon who keep the lights on for the Inside Running podcast. And hopefully you've been enjoying some of the bonus shows. The monthly with Christian and Toby came out on Friday night. Heavy show. Those boys are just way too. I think they must just take notes of all the controversial things they want to talk about in the month, and then just start teeing off. So there was a few different topics of discussion last week with them. The Road to Gold Coast boys did well at Launceston, 1st and 3rd in the half marathon. So they'll be recapping their races on the 5th episode with Croaks. They're recording that at the moment, so that'll be on the Patreon feed. And also, the most important thing that patrons are going to have a go at is the free tickets for the Gold Coast Marathon live show. So it's a bit of a live show powered by Lululemon, what we spoke about before. It's going to be held at the QT, which is the race hotel, Moose. You'd be in the QT,
Yes.
wouldn't you? Is that where you're staying?
No, I'm not. No,
You're
no.
not in there?
I'm at the No. What is it? Star Hotel,
Oh,
whatever
you're at
that
the
is.
casino. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm at the casino. Yeah.
QT is a legit venue. So
Awesome place.
yeah, awesome place. You can hear from Brad, Brady and Julian, and surprise guests about how their race pace days unfolded across the weekend. And after the live show, there's a bit of a connect and celebrate event. So following the podcast, join the Lululemon Clubhouse on the QT rooftop to celebrate the weekend with food, drinks and live music. So it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I was talking to Georgia from Lululemon when I was over in Tokyo, and she said she went on a site visit, which I thought was very professional, Moose. She flew from Adelaide to Gold Coast just to check out the venue for the live show, and she showed me some videos, and it looks absolutely amazing. So, tickets for Patreon supporters. This show comes out on Patreon on Monday. Tickets will be available to you on the Tuesday, and then the show goes out publicly on the Wednesday, and tickets will be available to everybody else on Thursday evening. But I wouldn't waste too much time nabbing a free ticket, because I think they'll go pretty fast. It's going to be a good event. It always is up the Gold Coast there. It should be a good celebration afterwards with a couple of beers and just recapping the weekend. It's always fun doing these things in public, Moose. It should be good this year again.
Yeah, no, they always are good. They like the Melbourne one last year, Gold Coast last year as well. You get a good crowd and you get good guests.
Yeah, good guests.
It's nice
good
to
people.
get someone it's good to hit up people that have just had great races to come in, because they're always so up and about.
Oh yeah, they were asking me who are the guests going to be, and I'm just like, we like to see the results first. You don't want to book a guest and then it's like, oh, they've had a shocker.
Yeah.
So Leanne, keep that in mind when you're at the 18k mark.
Oh, I mean, this sounds fun. I might have to.
We got a ticket for you, Leanne. We got a ticket for
hopefully
you.
all the tickets there.
Aaron, we got a ticket for you and Aaron. We'll hold one for you.
Oh, thanks.
That'll be good. Yeah, it's going to be good fun, and we'll all have different stories. I'll obviously be in the marathon, Croaks in the pace in the full marathon, and then you in the half marathon, Moose.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's hope we get there.
It should be good. I'm going to go to Jimmy now. You happy with that? Jimmy Constantine from the Sydney Marathon. Just going to add him in now. If you want to quickly just give him an intro, Moose, while I talk about him. He's got a new job. Did you know this? I did
know this, yeah.
Listeners would be familiar from his role at the Athletics New South Wales. But now...
Yeah. He works for Pont 3. So he's a digital marketing manager, and Sydney Marathon, he's the main man there now. He's the big dog.
I don't know if he'd be the main man. I'm not sure how Wayne Larden would...
Pretty sure he told us he was the big dog there now.
How Wayne Larden would feel about us calling him the main man of the Sydney Marathon. But Jimmy, I think I've got you there. Welcome to the Inside Running podcast again. Moose was just saying you're now the main man at the Sydney Marathon. Congratulations on the job promotion.
Certainly not the main man, Brady, but thanks so much for having me. It's great to have a chat, and very exciting times with Sydney.
Hey, it's good to have you. Good to hear your voice again. I don't think we've spoken since maybe it would have been Bathurst, wouldn't it? You had a bit of a role to play up there that weekend, or a bit of a role, pretty major role.
Yeah, I was just in the media team, so I was actually working a little bit alongside Athletics Australia just to help out with some of the media ops stuff, which was a great experience. It was great to see all three of you in the same location. Don't see that very often. So that was a fantastic weekend, and really thankful for that opportunity.
It is pretty rare. We got Leanne Pompeani here on the show as well, filling in for Croaks this week. Jimmy, I'm sure you would have seen her result yesterday.
I certainly did. Super impressive run that was. I'm sure she's recovered well. She always does. So, g'day, Leanne. Good to hear
you.
Jimmy, when does it get to the stage when you start teeing up the elite athletes for the event? This is one of the questions for a bit later on, but because we've got Leanne here, she's an elite athlete. Like, when do conversations start happening about putting the fields together?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in terms of the international athletes, they are all but locked in at the moment. Without giving away names, I can say that the contracts are being finalised as we speak. So they're the real big names. So we're talking top 5, top 10 athletes ranked in the marathon in the world.
In the world?
Extremely exciting. So, yeah, so that's...
Moose just fell off his seat, Jimmy, I reckon.
Top 5 in the world? Let me just jump on World Athletics.
No, again, I'm not going to give away names, but Destination New South Wales has put in a lot of time and resource to be able to secure some incredibly exciting names for the event. So they will be announced in a couple of weeks' time, so I'm not going to give them away now. But we're talking some really, really serious athletes coming along from Africa, probably goes without saying. So that's really exciting. In terms of the Australian fields, we do have 2 very big names. I don't know whether they've gone public yet, so I probably can't mention them now, but think of two of the best marathons we have in Australia. They will be lining up as well. So
2 best really ever?
A man and woman, or 2 of the same gender?
Correct, yeah. Male and female. 2 of the best marathons in Australia will be lining up. Yep.
2 of the best, or the 2 best?
I'll let you decide.
Jimmy, I thought you were the big dog, mate. You can tell us stuff.
You are being recorded, just as a disclosure.
I just don't want to get wrapped on the knuckles at 9 a.m. tomorrow, guys.
Hey, Jimmy, there's no... You're throwing everything at this, aren't you? Like, you kind of see the promotion around it. I know a lot of elites are kind of sharing different things on their Instagram stories, and the tilt, and you guys have been good to work with us in promotion. Like, it seems like this is a fair dinkum attempt at being a world marathon major.
It is, and it has to be, to uplift. And this could have gone to Melbourne or Gold Coast as well. I think Sydney... just with the iconic stature of the city itself, the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House really is. It doesn't get any better than that in terms of a destination or a tourism component. So we're really lucky to have this opportunity with the Cairns City over 3 years. This is the second year of 3, but we have to throw everything at it. We have to increase the numbers. We have to get people and the city and this Australia as a whole behind this event, because we're simply not going to be able to make meet those marks that Abbott World Majors have in terms of the criteria to hit. So it is a big ask, but I can say that the team is it's been phenomenal. I only started a couple of weeks ago when at Pond 3 working on the event. They're the deliverers of the event, but it's such an amazing workplace to be a part of, and there's so much experience, sort of led by Wayne at the helm. There's a lot going into it. That's time, that's money. The staff has increased. The staff has doubled over the last 6 to 8 months. So, yeah, we are absolutely throwing everything at this thing.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I got a question. Sorry, mate.
There you go.
So when you look at like a world major, what are you've obviously done research, I'm guessing, into what the determining factors are for a general punter to go to a race. So like, why would someone pick a certain race to do over another? What are they?
Oh, so you mean in terms of the criteria to actually get the status? Is that
No. If someone's picking a race to do, like, there would be like surveys and that done, wouldn't there, on like how big of an influence does the course have, or is it a fast course, or those sort of things? Do they play a big part in how people decide what race to do?
I think that's twofold. So you've got your existing running market. So all of us are going to look at the course. How fast is the course? Do I want to run a PB? What's the elite athlete treatment going to be like? Where am I going to be put up in the hotel? How easy is it to get to the start line an hour early? All those factors are a big part in deciding what marathons we do. And then you've got this whole other side of the sport, which are actually people not really from the sport. They're the 6 and 7 hour marathoners. And that's been a massive sort of strategy for this year, is actually getting people who they're fundamentally not weekend warriors. They're not runners, but we're actually making them, believe that, hey, you can actually become a marathoner. Whether you think you can or not, you actually can. So if you're a park runner, if you've done a 10K, if you think about doing a half marathon in the lead up, you can actually do 42K. So I guess, a lot of the strategy has been around how do we get, because the elites will come, right? Like, and the elites will also choose whether they want to go to Gold Coast because they want to run 220, whether they want to run 215. Like, they've already made their choice. The general punters haven't made up their mind yet, because we need to sell the idea and the dream to them that they actually can become a marathoner. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
yeah. It definitely does, and that's what I was wondering. Like, what sort of things can those people expect if they sign up to Sydney over other marathons? Like, what is it about your race? How are you going? Come and do it here.
Well, I think so. That's 7 hour cutoff. That's a massive one. So that's 10-minute Ks. So we've engaged a local sports podcast called Hello Sport, and it's basically two blokes on a couch who drink beer and talk about sport. They have May Johns from the rugby league come in and chat. And, that's a general punter vibe, and they're going to be leading essentially the party pack at 7 hours. Now, they've got about 400 people registered just to their team. And so that's 400 people that never would have dreamed about doing a marathon up until those guys said, hey, we're doing it. Come join us. We'll have some beers on the way. And almost have like this see the serve vibe to it, which all of a sudden makes it really accessible to a whole different market that just did not exist and wouldn't exist if we didn't change, and wouldn't exist to Gold Coast or Melbourne either. So those sorts of initiatives have really helped. And, we've got a really exciting announcement on Wednesday as well to do with the participation numbers, which I think will be a really positive shock to a lot of people. So those sorts of initiatives have really helped us along.
Oh, that was my question, Jimmy, because the numbers is the main thing that you got to tick on the criteria, isn't it? Like, I've heard Wayne talk that a lot of the other criteria has been kind of ticked off in the past, or very easy to kind of achieve.
Yeah, it is. We have to get more people. It's as simple as that. So can I give an exclusive? Maybe I can.
Yeah. When did you say you're announcing it? Wednesday.
We're announcing on Wednesday.
Yeah, this will go out Wednesday.
We've got over 10,000 registered in the marathon, and we are officially Australia's largest marathon ever. So that is an amazing achievement 3.5 months out from the event, and something we're really proud of, because it means that we're on track to actually satisfy that that big criteria of getting a much larger number of finishes to the finish line. So yeah, we're the first ever to 10,000. It's pretty cool. And
what do you like the World Marathon Majors want you to get to?
It's to do with finishes. Okay. So we never actually know. So we can get to a number. So it's not 20,000 and it's not 12,000. It's somewhere between there. So it's a number that's achievable from this stage, but we don't actually know until the final person at 7 hours crosses the line how many finishes we get. Now, I think what's important is that there's a number that Abbott's World Majors say that we need to hit. I think there's going to be a slight grace in that, particularly last year. I think they announced that we're a Cairns Sea Marathon 6 weeks out from the event, so we had zero time to actually do anything about it, and the numbers were what they were. But what it allowed was a 12-month strategy into this year's event to actually say, right, we're going to hit that figure that Abbott World Majors wants us to hit, and we're on track to do that. So that's really exciting. Yeah, okay. That is exciting. You'll just be at the 41k mark for anyone DNF and just get your butt across that finish line. We need these numbers. We've joked about people walking off the course and just taking their bibs and putting it onto the 7 hour guys, the Hello Sport guys. They just collect them as they go. Yeah. It's like the buses at Japan when you don't make a checkpoint in time. Hey, has there been a lot of overseas interest, like people wanting to do it? Because if you do it this year, then you get a spot for when it becomes a World Marathon Major, don't you? You do. So anyone who runs this year and next year will get a guaranteed spot when it becomes a major. I say when it becomes a major in 2025. Positive vibes only here. So yeah, it's a cool initiative. I'm actually out with a friend right now having a chat about this and why it's going to be a big pull this year, but also really next year, because once we get onto people's radars and maps across the world this year with the increase in the candidacy and actually, Sydney might actually become a world major, then I think 2024 there's going to be a massive amount of international interest, because we all know how oversold the big marathons are and how hard they are to get into, particularly if you're not a elite or a sub-elite athlete. So that's a big pull for the general punter who's running, 3.5 hours, 4 hours and beyond. And
all those people that have like is it 6-star finishes? Is that how many there are at the moment?
Yeah, so
like they got to get their extra star.
This is an interesting one. I actually don't know the answer to this, and I don't think anyone knows. Does it become a 7-star medal? What happens to everyone who's achieved a 6-star? That question hasn't been answered yet. We're probably not there yet anyway, because we probably need to hit our goals this year and next year before we have that conversation. But it's a really interesting one, and I think Abbott has a really interesting decision to make about what the future of the majors looks like, particularly if they do get Australia. Do they then chase one in South America, for example? I don't know. Does it truly become a global world major series? I don't know the answer to that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens after 2025.
It's all exciting, Jimmy. Last question from me is about the course changes, and I think you've got some age group and club championships this year as well. I also know you were calling out for paces during the week. We've got a guy that we can hook you up with if the price is right over here at the Inside Run podcast.
We'll take him. We'll take his application.
Mate, he's not going to be able to keep up. They got the top 5 in the world.
Yeah, true. He'll go good at the Gold Coast. His heart will be fine. Croaks will be. He can do any pacing job we throw at him.
Top 5 in the world. That's ladies running 2:14, mate.
True.
What's he going to do? Pace him for 5K?
I threw 3 questions at you there, Jimmy. Feel free to answer any of them.
Sorry. So the age and club the age and club national championships. That's a really cool initiative that Athletics Australia and Pont3 have brought in for this year. So essentially what it means is that there's national championships on the line for every Masters age group from 30. So they're in 5-year age groups, as it would be for any state association event. So 30 to 34, 35 to 39, up until I think it's 100. And it just means that, really good 50, 60, 70-year-old runners from all states around Australia can actually, who like to run marathons can say, hey, I can actually win a national medal here. I thought I was past my prime, but, there's a national championship for me on the line here. So that's really cool from an individual perspective. I think the one that I'm really keen on, though, is the club national championship. So there's a men's, a women's, and a mixed club championship where teams consist of 3 men, women, or mixed. And I know that there's been quotes from Glenn Huntley. I think Steve Deneen from Box Hill has been keen on it as well. So a couple of the big AV clubs that you guys would know very, very well are keen to throw some of their better athletes in there and try and actually secure the first ever club national marathon championship. So that should be really fun. I see that as a real sort of, state of origin between Vic and New South Wales, and whether Queensland decide to throw in a few teams as well, that would be really cool. So yeah, that's that. And then the paces for this year are open to anyone to apply. So they're open, I think, until the end of this week. We have pace groups from 2:45 to 7 hours, and every between 15 and 30 minutes in between. So there's a pace group for everyone to get involved in. If you are thinking about getting involved and having a really, really, great experience, basically bringing good vibes and leading people around to an event and a marathon that they'll never forget, please do apply through our website or through social media. You can just look up Sydney Marathon and you'll find all the details there.
Jimmy, love the passion. You're the digital marketing manager now for Pont3, and this role seems to be suiting you down to the ground. Thanks for partnering with the Inside Run podcast. I can feel the energy coming out of your voice. And yeah, listeners, this is a big chance. They got 10,000 already, but we still need more people. Get there in September for what's going to be a pretty iconic event.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate your time.
No worries, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Leanne, I know you've been on a flight today and we've still got a whole lot of stuff to get through in this week's show. So Moose and I are more than happy of just running through this running news if you would like to leave early. Please, please don't feel like you've got to stay for Moose on the Loose and listen to question.
Kind of guest host would I be?
Well, you've been here for 90 minutes and that's pretty significant.
I reckon there's some good content here that Leanne can contribute to.
I also
Let's crack on.
Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure we weren't holding you here against your will.
No.
Because this is a long episode. Good. Let's start with the world records. I'll go with Jakob first, the 2 mile at the Paris Diamond League this was. He ran 7:54.1, went through 3K in 7:24.07, which would be the third fastest 3K time in history, and less than 4 seconds off that world record. The second guy was 8:09, so a fair way behind him, and Stewy was a DNF. He just makes it look so easy. He had a pacemaker for probably the first, so we're talking 8-lap race here, maybe the first 5 to 6 laps. We've spoken about it before. He's just got that ability to run super fast without it look like he's straining. We spoke about this on the monthly because we recorded like 7 hours before this race. And we kind of thought, well, I did in particular, I'm like, this guy can pretty much coast a 4-minute mile and then kick it down, which is kind of pretty much what he did. Brained the whole field. It wasn't like a super elite kind of Diamond League field like we saw at that 5K the other week. And the other news out of this was Stewy was a DNF. Kind of went with the pace early and then dropped back pretty dramatically and then kind of just stepped off. So I know you guys spoke about it last week, Moose, with Ali. A few up and down results for Stewy, and this is another one not going in the right direction. But what did you think of Jakob running a 7:54 2 mile?
Well, I didn't watch it. I don't know whether you can watch it.
Bootleg on
on
YouTube. I watched it. Some English guy was doing his own commentary over the top.
Yeah. I think we even said last week this guy is pretty much untouchable right now, and he can win Olympics and he can break world records. Like, he can do it all. He's not just a time trialer and he's not just a racer. I didn't watch the race, but I wasn't surprised that he got the record. So I don't know what else to say. Like, he's just incredible. Stewy, it's an odd decision off the back of his last few races to go with that pace, I thought. I haven't watched it, but I assumed that, like, when I saw DNF and someone said, oh, he went with the pace, I assumed that he was there to pace. But it doesn't sound like that.
No, he was pretty much behind Jakob, behind 2 pacemakers.
And how long, when did he step off?
Oh, I'm going to say 3 laps he might have. He just started, like, going backwards and people overtaking him, and then you just didn't see him. Like, he must have stepped off out of camera in the back straight.
Yeah, so something's, like, pretty seriously wrong, isn't it, if he can't get through 3 laps, like, at 4-minute mile pace?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like he ran the second mile much better than his first mile, Jakob, so he wasn't. Stewy should have been able to hang on to that for 5 laps.
Yeah, he's like a 3:48 guy or something.
Yeah. Later in the evening, Faith Kipyegon, she broke the 5K world record. So this is the same meet. She ran 14:05.2. Letzenbet G'day was the previous world record holder, and she ran second in 14:07.94. And Igahu Tay from Ethiopia was third. She ran 14:13. The commentators called it at the bell. This is in quotes. It won't be a world record. And then Faith Kipyegon, she had an incredible last 200-metre pickup. She kind of got to the wave lights, absolutely went past them. She kind of put that 2 and a bit seconds into G'day, all in the last probably 150. She looked like an 800-metre runner at the end of a 5K, closed in about 60-ish. Probably wasn't a bad call for the commentator that they wouldn't break the world record, but they just come home full of steam. G'day pretty much led after the pace had dropped out, and then, Kipyegon just brained her in the last 150, 200 metres. What did you think about this one, Leanne, when you saw these results when you woke up on, was it Saturday morning?
Oh. Yeah. I ended up watching it as well.
Yeah.
Like, after in the morning having coffee. It's just insane. Like, to think that women are knocking on the door of sub 14. Just like, how do we compete with that? Like, yeah. And the way that Faith she finished the 5K like she finished as a 1500. Like, she was hauling. Like, yeah.
It was like, yeah, you kind of summed it up. If you turned it on and you hadn't watched the previous 12 laps, you would have thought you were watching the end of a 1500.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she hasn't, when I first saw it, I'm like, does she ever run 5Ks that often? Like, I don't think she's ran that many of them. But then I guess when you got the speed of the 1500 metre world record under your belt, and then you've got that strength there, she could be dangerous come championship racing if it's going to pan out that way.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could touch it. If it's a sit and kick, no one can kick like her.
Did you see on the commentary too, they were saying today how she hasn't won a lot of races recently? Like, and she kind of just doesn't look the same since her marathon debut. Like, I think that went pear-shaped, Bathurst went pear-shaped. Yeah.
What was the world record before this race?
She had it was at 14:08. I reckon she's actually ran.
Mate, she's run under the world record.
Yeah, but she can't win races, Moose.
Right, she's won under. You just said she doesn't look as good. She's just basically run the 5K world record. Yeah, and you said she doesn't look good.
But she's just towing girls around and they're just out kicking her. Let me check what the PB was.
Mate, she ran 14:07.
14:06 was the world record, mate. She just missed the world record. It's saying, like, if we play our stock game with athletes, I reckon her stock prices is just dropping a bit. There's some vulnerabilities there in G'day.
Oh,
agree?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I wouldn't say so. No, I just think that there's other athletes that are coming through. I guess that
I'd take 14:07 though. I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, have a listen to Brady just rip this girl down.
Well, she spoke to me about 6 minutes at Valencia, Moose, so I've got to get some digs in somewhere. Then the steeple world record went down as well. Lemecha Girma, he ran 7:52.11 for a steeplechase world record. And second place was a Japanese national record by Ryuji Murara. He ran 8:09.9. So a national record and a world record. The results here are just unbelievable. What's going on, Moose? Is it the technology? Is it the training? Is it the wave lights? Like, we're early in the season as well. Like,
it's a combination of everything. Everything just seems to be culminating in these improvements. So, like, let's just say you take 2 seconds from the shoes, right? You take 2 seconds for the wave lights. Maybe you take, in my opinion, I think training methods have advanced a lot. I think we're a lot smarter with what we do, and I think someone like Lemecha Girma is probably getting advised a lot more specifically with a lot more close checking than maybe an African athlete in the mid-90s was. And so you chuck 4 seconds onto that, all of a sudden you've got 10 seconds, and that's a world record. I don't think it's one factor. And I mean, who knows the other factors that aren't talked about? Well, they are talked about. I just got a fucking tweet. I was just tweeted right then saying that some bloke in the marathon at Doha just got popped, some Bahrainian bloke. So he's got done for drugs. So
yeah, I just got sent that as well. Is it the fastest non-East African marathon runner ever?
Yeah, it's not. It would be a lie to sit here and say there's no doping in high-end athletics. Like, that would be a blanket. That would just be a false statement. There is doping, and I'm sure that there's doping going on in these diamond leagues, and the athletes in there are doped athletes. So let's just chuck a couple of seconds here and there for that as well. Now, I'm not going to say that one or the other isn't doing that. We can't do that. But there's the history, the last year and a half, we know that these Africans, like a lot of them, have been done for doping. What was it, like 50 Kenyans in a year or something?
Yep, something like that.
Even more than that, wasn't it?
No, I don't know. I'd love to have the real number in front of me without, confirming anything. But yeah, a significant amount.
So yeah, I think it's a combination of things. That's my best guess at it.
800 was won by Emmanuel Wanyoni in 1:43.27, which is a world lead, and the women's was run by Keely Hodgkinson, 1:55.77, which is a world lead and a British national record. We had Cat Bisset fourth in that race in 1:58.5, come home super strong. So that was the Paris Diamond League. If there's one marathon you do this year, really make it count. We're ecstatic to announce that the Sydney Marathon presented by ASICS is a candidate race for the prestigious Abbott World Marathon Majors. To help us reach our goal of becoming one of the world's best, we need passionate runners like you to join us on this amazing journey. Incredibly, we've already set a new Australian marathon record with over 10,000 runners who have already registered from all around the world. The Sydney Marathon now has more participants registered than any other marathon in Australian history. By securing your spot in the Sydney Marathon this year, you'll also be receiving over $1,000 in added value as part of our Sydney Marathon Candidacy Club. You'll be guaranteed a spot on the start line when it becomes an Abbott World Marathon Major in 2025. You'll get a free 12-month subscription to the ASICS Runkeeper Go app. You'll have access free to Eloise Welling's Marathon State of Mind training program, which is valued at $900, and save big on your hotel accommodation with marathon tours and travel. Run over the Sydney Harbour Bridge, finish at the Sydney Opera House, and help us join the ranks of a world-renowned marathons such as New York, London, Boston, Chicago, Berlin, and Tokyo. Grab your mates and register today so we can make history in the best way we know how, together. Moose, you want to take me to the Launceston half marathon because you had an athlete, Ali Pashley, racing in that?
Yeah, so in the half, these guys went off at 8:05 a.m., which we started our long run at 7:30. So I kind of I got the stream up at about 8:10, just carried my phone with me because everyone was kind of interested in what was going on. So I had the stream going while we ran. I occasionally checked in to see what was happening. It was too hard. I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't really see exactly what was going on, but I could hear the commentary. And the men's group was quite close together for deep into the race. I'm not sure. I missed the bit where the breaks were made, but there was a group of probably 6 athletes, I reckon, that was there at around 16K mark. And how the race played out. Like, have you watched the replay, Leanne?
I watched a bit of it, yeah.
When did Ed Goddard make the move to win?
I don't think it was far from the finish, actually.
Yeah, I think Tim made a move before Ed, kind of strung him out a bit, yeah. But then it was only like maybe the last 2K, kind of going down that dip.
It was pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there was it was a bit of a almost like long surge to the finish from sort of Ed. 63.10, he won. So you can hear about his recap. I think Croaks just recorded it on Road to Gold Coast. Andy Buchanan was second, 63.15, and Tim Vincent, 63.17. In that pack also, Riley Cox was behind them in fourth.
I think Joel was maybe fourth and then Riley maybe.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yep. The ladies' race wasn't quite as close. Ali and Tara were running together in a pack with a couple of males that were pacing or running around the same time. But Tara actually dropped back early and then caught up to Ali at maybe around the sort of 15, 20-minute mark. And I didn't see if there was a move made. It didn't look like it based off like Ali's splits that there was a pace increase. It looked pretty consistent. So I'm assuming that Tara just dropped back slightly, but she ran really well to come second in 73.16. That's a really good run from Tara. Ali won 71.52, and Millie Clark was third in 75.47. So, yeah, that was like, funnily enough, like Ali actually entered the 10K, Leanne, when she entered the race, and she was put in the half marathon. And this was after, what was this after? She found out on the bus because they released the fields to cross country, and she was just like, someone said, "Oh, what race are you doing?" And she said, "Oh, the 10K at Launceston." And they're like, "No, you're not."
Oh.
So she was going to be racing against you
Yeah.
guys. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened there exactly. But she decided to stay in the half. I thought it's good money down there, let's be honest.
I thought it was weird. We talked about this on the monthly, that you would prescribe 2 half marathons in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not a real Julian Spence coaching thing to do. So then we were making jokes about how money talks as well.
Well, money does talk. I mean, this is your job.
Yeah.
Leanne, you got to win prize money to pay your rent, don't you?
Oh, yeah, it all.
I mean,
it
you
all
work
helps.
too, but it'll
Yeah.
And so you often, like, if you were going into this, event and you were a bit of a late entrant, as Ali was, she wasn't in the initial entries. Like the original decision was for her to do the 10K, and that was based off like where we thought she would be in training and where the better race was going to be, because she sort of knew that a few of you guys were doing it. But if you were coming in late and you're like, actually, there's a quite an easy opportunity to win money in the half, would you consider that, or do you just make?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Like, and it sort of goes back to when you were talking to Jimmy about, what's the enticement for people to want to do races. For elites, half of it is like, money. What can they win? What's on offer? So
Yeah, that's and we like. I am all about racing. Like, I want to see the best people race each other. But if you're going to put an event like this on and you're going to put prize money across multiple events, then you expect that dilution to happen. And that's just natural, I think.
And you get it from Welshie to have an Olympian in one event, like, to spread the big names across the 4 events.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And yeah, you put everyone in one, and then all of a sudden in the half, there's only sort of like it's not that much of a spectacle. So yeah,
or it doesn't get the same headlines pre and post event as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, from a marketing point of view for the event.
In, right?
Yeah.
So we I actually thought this worked out better for Ali to run the half anyway. I thought her training has been a little bit more. We haven't done a lot of work in that 10K space yet. So a lot of her stuff coming back has been threshold training and longer fartleks that I haven't been at higher paces. So when we sort of found out, immediately I'm like, no, you do the 10, because it's shit that someone changed what event you were entered in without telling you. And then once we sat down, we were like, actually, no, your training's better suited to the half right now. Like, you're set up for a half here, and hopefully, you don't have to go and bury yourself, and you can sort of recover from it a little better. But in terms of her time, she'll hate me for saying this, but she had a tummy bug, the night before. Was nauseous, woke up nauseous, couldn't eat her breakfast, and then felt really uneasy and nauseous through the run, and then threw up 10 times at the end. And then
she didn't look well at the end. No.
We missed it because we were running, and then I heard one of the commentators say, "Oh, yeah, we'll give her some space before we interview her." I was like, "Oh shit, maybe she's gone into the well here." But yeah, she thought she had nerves or something, but it's something a bit different. She told me not to say that, by the way, because she didn't want anyone to
excuse.
Yeah, but I'm going to say it anyway. So do you want to talk about the 10K, Leanne, or the men's? Did you watch?
Yeah,
you
watch
the replay?
I'll do the men's. Yeah. So Brett Robinson took the win, 28:11 over Ed Marks, 28:13 and then James Hansen, 28:20, and all of them got under Jack's course record of 28:31. And I know the night before Brett was saying, look, it's, there were talks of, will the course record go down? And pretty similar to what I was thinking, if the weather is good, we'll go for it. And honestly, their race, watching the replay, obviously I see it while I was running. It was a good race. I mean, obviously that's close. It's good to see close finishes like that. And I was talking to James Hansen after as well, and he was just stoked. He was like, I never thought I'd run that quick. So, you know, a lot of people got pulled along to a PB that day.
It was a good front pack to watch.
And Brett's back up from, like, because London was only 6 weeks ago, wasn't it, Moose? Like Ali, the same thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. I think they said 6 weeks on the coverage. I don't know. Maybe. I could be wrong. But did you see Brett, like, he was leading, but he didn't really want to lead, so he was kind of like swerving over the road, and then they would follow him.
Yeah.
And then the tactician he is, like when they went in their turnaround for the U-turn, he just went in first, comes out third, and you're like, okay, he's a smart man. And then his kick home was just all class. Got to be one of the best races we've got. He knows how to win stuff. He
won as easily as he possibly could have, but that doesn't mean it was that easy for him, I don't think. He just knows how to get shit done.
Yeah.
He was. I don't think he was the fittest in that race, and Ed Marks towered him up a couple of weeks ago at cross country, and I reckon he was sitting there like 3K out, going, "I'm going to win this because I'm Brett Robinson."
Yeah.
But these blokes could beat me right now if they wanted, or if they knew how, they would beat me.
Yeah. All class from him.
He's good at what he does. Yeah.
He's very good at what he does. Taking you guys to have we done the women's results? We haven't. Yes, we have a million times, but not officially like this. So Leanne obviously got the win in 31.37 and the course record. Lisa Waitman was second, 32.10, and Olga Fasova was third. I think she's from Queensland in 32.43. And we spoke about Jess's course record was 31.49 from last year, which has now been erased. Might go to the United States. Kai Robinson Moose, did you see this? The 5K, 10K double. This is another boy who knows how to win a race.
So I watched this before we recorded tonight because I've been seeing it in the news, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. So I put on the 10K and then I skipped to the last, maybe it was 5 laps, and just watched what was happening. At 2 laps to go, Kai was 20 metres off the front in 9th position, and he was the very back of the pack. And then with 1 lap to go, he was in 4th place, and he made a move with, I'm going to say, 600 to go, when he's come around the side. And then he just put his foot down, and he effortlessly increases pace. He doesn't thrash. He's very smooth. He doesn't show distress on his face when he's increasing his pace. He's really composed. And so he burnt them like in a space of 50 metres. He'd put 3 seconds on somebody in the second place. And his one teammate followed him, Charles Hicks, who won NCAA cross country. And at 100 to go, I thought Hicks was going to get him. He looks the better, he's got the better momentum. But no, Kai, he put his foot down, went into another gear, and he blew away one of the strongest fields of all time in 1 lap. Ran 50. Someone said 53 seconds. Someone else said 55 seconds. So regardless,
I've seen 54.
it was a bloody fast last lap, and he did it, and he was straight. He was off. He's like, "Yep, job done." He reminds me. He also won the 5K the next day, and he won it in a very, very similar fashion, except he did it with 1 lap to go, so he didn't wind it up quite as quickly, and he won it easier. What was his last lap in the 5K?
Yeah, I've got 55-54 here as well, so pretty similar.
Yeah. So he won this easier. His teammate Charles Hicks wasn't in that front pack. You had Nico Young, who's the NAU guy, and he's a class athlete. He's a 13 low guy. I don't think he's been under 13 yet, but he will one day. He was winding it up with about a mile out, dropping 61 second lap, 63. And Robinson just sitting at the back, composed again, just sitting, and then just goes around, blasts to the front, and just the way that he, I was just watching his back, his back lift, his legs. how quick he turns that over and how easy he makes it look. I think he's going to be a real star for us, like for Australia.
So do I. And he's already had that taste of international experience, at Open Championships.
And his interviews afterwards, he reminds me of Mottram. He's got this confidence and this self-belief that I don't think we've sort of seen that often before. He's Stewy, super humble guy, obviously has a lot of self-belief, but Kai outwardly projects that kind of untouchable type aura. And I think he's going to be really, really fun to watch over the next 5 to 10 years. I think he's going to be a major player in Diamond Leagues. He shows what he can do at the end of races, which is how you win championships. So you get him in some big stuff. He's going to get through heats. He's going to get through semis with his racing style. You're going to see him in finals for a long time.
And he's got no fear. Just no fear about racing. We saw it when he was at the World Champs and stuff. He's peeling on the shoulder of, Cholimo on that.
Yep. In that race, so he doubled. And so the last person to win the 5:10 double was Edward Cheserek. And Jackson Sharp was an Australian. He was in third. He ran 14:06. And he was the main guy, chasing Kai down. I think he got passed on the line. So he's at Wisconsin. And obviously Kai's at Stanford. So that was pretty cool to see an Aussie come in third as well. I watched the ladies as well. Leanne, did you watch the ladies 1500 with Izzy?
No, I didn't see all of it, so yeah, I probably can't say too much about it.
No, well, this was also a pretty strange race. Caitlin Toohey, who is a bit of a star over there. She's the next thing. Kind of like Nico Young is on the men's side. Caitlin Toohey is on the ladies' side. And when I went to that National High School Cross Country, Brady, when I went to the States.
Chico State.
No, when I went to Nike on that trip.
Oh, yeah. Was that the Foot Locker ones or something like that? One of those
It wasn't Foot Locker. It was Nike Cross Nationals. So it was high school national championships. Nico won Young the men's and Caitlin Toohey won the women's. And so it's interesting to see him a few years later being this good, as high schoolers that have come through. But so Caitlin Toohey went out hard, real hard, and she was passed. So she blew up. Pretty brave, crazy type run, considering it was the final of the national cross college championships. I would have thought maybe a little too heated, a little bit of a rash move to go out so hard. But we always confuse. Izzy Thornton Bott, she looks so strong when she runs. She has a really strong gait. She's going to be another star in the 15, I think. The way that she runs and how strong she was. Went out in second place behind Toohey, and not a lot of girls went with her. And she managed to sort of guts it out and hold on to second place, even though she was the one that made the charge to catch her. So she runs for Oregon. She was second.
Yeah, she looks strong. Australian mile champion, remember? She come home and did that.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. And then Adam Spencer, he was third in the men's 1500 in 3:42.
I didn't get around to watching that.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either. It all feels like it comes at different stages throughout the weekend, different times you're tuning in. Leanne, though, the last bit of news from you is we got some news about the Australian marathon team for the World Championships in Budapest. See this?
Yeah. Good news. This isn't news about me. This is Lisa Waitman, Izzy Bat Doyle, Sarah Klein are the female representatives, and Pat Tiernan.
Just one male again, Moose.
Yeah,
they're continuing the trend.
Yeah, so obviously you had to nominate for this because Pat hasn't run the qualifying time, has he? So he would have had to get in on points here.
Yeah, what did he do? No, Chicago would have been... Oh, no, they've changed it, haven't they?
Yeah, it was 2:09.40. Yeah, something like that. So... And then Sarah Klein, what was her PB?
I can look it up now, but she also
I
got
can't
in
remember.
she got in on points for last year's World Champs.
Oh, okay. Well, really?
Yep.
Why would she have got points for that?
She got into last year's World Champs.
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
points.
yeah.
Yep, not
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Her personal best is 2:30.10, which she ran at that World Champs last year.
Yeah. That was a solid run from her there.
That was pretty high, wasn't it? She got 1,131 points for that as well. So maybe that has qualified her for this one.
These World Champs marathons, they're always a bit warmer. The courses aren't that fast. They're not that attractive for the top end marathoners, are they? Just generally speaking.
Yeah, generally speaking, especially
You got
the men.
thoughts, Leanne, on that? Like as like someone who might be stepping up to this in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you sort of look and you think, well, did the others just not nominate because they're not interested? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. I mean, a world champs is world champs. I'd take a singlet, but
That's my attitude too. But I tell you what, Sarah Klein, in the state of Australian female marathoning, she is racking up some Australian singlets. Like, she knows how to pick the right races to do and knows how to get herself onto teams. And kudos to her for doing it, because if you're a marathoner coming up now, you're like, I'm going to have to run 2:24 to make teams. But she shows that you don't.
Yeah, with her points, she's ranked 58th on the roll. She's ranked 254th, but she's ranked 58th when you must go the 3 per country. But it says here she's qualified by a world ranking.
yep,
Does it show what her 2 ranking races are?
Oh, good question. Let me see if I click on her name, I can find it.
I don't know.
It's loading now. Yeah, it says so. Her Newcastle marathon was that this year? No, last year when she ran 2:30, and then her World Champs marathon when she ran 2:30, but was 14th.
Yeah,
she
okay.
got 1,130 and 1,171.
This is what should keep people interested, like, and not scare them too far off. You can accumulate good races and still get into teams. It might not be the Olympics, but maybe it is a Com Games, or maybe it is a World Champs. That kind of team at a hot place, or someone where someone might not like obviously, like say Sinead or Ali or Eloise or whatever. They don't nominate for any reason, for whatever reason that they don't want to go. Because
they take 53 by the entry standard, but then 45 by your world ranking position.
Yeah, okay.
They don't usually take 100, do they? What's that, 98?
They cut it to 80, and then I think they pushed it back out again, which is good.
Yeah.
I like it, because it's good to have that many out there.
It is.
On the men's side, obviously there's no. You think if Andy was in that top spot, he would be. If he was in the points mix, can you click on Andy and find out where
I'm just loading the men's marathon now. I think Andy's concentrating on the Bendigo Bats winter though, trying to get a back-to-back premiership. Let me see where Andy falls in here.
Priorities.
Yeah, Eliud Kipchoge's number 2 though, not number 1. Andrew Buchanan. Oh yeah, there he was. He's 69th. Yeah, so he's qualified by world ranking points.
So he's decided. He said, "No, I'm not interested."
Let me see where Pat is. He's qualified by world ranking points as well. He's 64th. So they're both pretty close together. So Pat and Andy are very similar boats there with their points.
Yeah, interesting. There's still hope for you, Brady.
Mate, a long way off these kind of times.
He's got to put a few together.
Yeah, don't know how many points 38th position at Gold Coast is going to get me in a few weeks. But anyway.
Let's skip, comrades. Can't talk about world record.
Let's skip it. We'll put in next week's show notes. You can recap it then. I just wanted to put in there the joke of Fakoda. That guy who's running Gold Coast in a couple of weeks. He raced, which I thought was weird. Let's skip listener question. Let's go straight to Moose on the loose and then wrap up the show. What do you got, Moose?
Oh yeah, so just like this is a more recent one, but you know how Leanne was saying about how cross country points are contributing to someone getting in the 10K field at the World Champs.
Yeah, so this was off air, so maybe just repeat.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Let me put in women's 10K here as well, Leanne, and see what happens. But
Yeah,
you were saying, Leanne, you don't think you're a chance for World Champs because the time is so much quicker.
Yeah.
30,
Yeah,
40
so
they've got here.
I've been trying to get my head around it. I've pretty much put the 10K for World Champs to bed, just because it seems pretty much impossible to make it unless you run 30, 40, because they brought in this new sort of cross-country series qualification. So there were cross-country races earlier in the year overseas, and you had to have run at least 3 of them for yours to count. So essentially you rack up points on cross-country, and there are 8 automatic spots allocated for the 10K at World Champs. So that already takes a field of 26 or 27. That only leaves you with about 18 spots left, and I think
that's so crazy. That's insane to me.
Yeah, so
up
the top here it just says by entry standard of 30, 40 they'll take 20, and then world ranking points they'll take 8. And you're currently ranked first Australian, but 42nd on world ranking points.
Yeah, for the Budapest rankings.
Yeah.
On the normal world rankings, it's a lot lower, but the Budapest rankings is
because all these cross country people in front of you.
Yeah, that's it. And it's sort of it makes it really difficult for anyone that's sort of not in the area where those cross country races are being raced.
Is that sorry, go on.
No, you go. Yeah.
Oh, is the reason they did that to try to build cross country back up, like to get good people racing it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because they also brought in that you can, like the 10K on the road, that'll count towards the 10,000 meters. But yeah, it's sort of, I think how they were sort of planning, 50% will make it on time, 50% will make it on rankings, sort of didn't work out how they planned.
Yeah, and people are playing this system, because I'm looking at the people who are qualified by rankings, and you can look at their PBs. Like one girl here's a lot higher than you, but her PB is 34.12 for 10K.
No.
10K on the track.
No.
10K on the road, she's run 33.07. But she did the 3 cross-country races in Spain.
Fuck.
Yep.
Oh my! See, this was always the problem. Like when you saw this shit from years ago, when they first said Tokyo is going to be points only, and everyone cracked the shits, and they said, and they're like, no, like you can't do that because it's so biased to certain regions and certain races, and Australians don't get access to those places. And Diamond Leagues have all these points and they have the best spots, but you don't, like, there's only 8 people that can run in a 1500 or 100 meters or whatever. Like, it's so exclusive that it doesn't give everyone a fair chance.
Yeah, don't go looking at some of these names, Leanne. Don't go clicking on them. Because I'm starting clicking on a few, and I'm just like, they're like,
I'll get myself to,
31.26.
too frustrated, but good thing is there's some good races here in Australia coming up, so I'm looking forward to them. Yeah,
interesting.
So are you target Oceania races to get extra points? Is that something that, like, most Australians will probably do that, won't they? Like the Oceania Championships?
I guess so. Are you talking about the track and field or the road Oceania?
Well, whatever. Like, I guess you get so many more points, don't you?
Yeah, I know. It's sort of, you're sort of silly if you don't just go and run in it, because you're just missing out on a huge amount of points. Yeah.
If you do a medium fast race, with a win, you're going to get way more points than if you do a really fast race at a non-championship event.
Yeah, exactly.
I just hate that. Like, I really do. It just takes the purity away, I think.
Yeah, it's a good moose on the loose. Just get the best people in the races, not the people playing the system.
Yeah, and the system's who's going to go to Spain to run 3 cross-country races? That is so biased.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, what's coming up? We've got the AV round 4, Cruden Farm. You're doing that, Moose? 12K cross-country?
Yeah, that's going to be hard work, mate.
Yeah, sound confident about that. New South Wales cross country as well. Championships in Nowra. There's the Oslo Diamond League as well. And I've just got to plug the Gold Coast live show ticketing. All goes on sale it's free. All goes out to the public this week. So grab a ticket if you want to join us at the Gold Coast. A massive thanks, Leanne, for giving up 2 hours and 6 minutes of your Monday night, the day after you break the Australian All-Comers 10K record, and you've been on a flight today. So thank you for giving up some time. I know our listeners will appreciate that for the Inside Running podcast, and good luck for your prep leading into Gold Coast.
Oh, thanks for having me again.
No worries at all.
Thanks, Leanne.
It was an easy choice. We hadn't booked anyone, and then we just said we'll just wait and see what Launceston results fire out, and then we're like, Leanne's our lady again. We've got to hit her up. Moose, thanks to you as well. You got much coming up between now and next week?
Back to work, mate. You know how it is.
Back to work. Yeah, a bit of a shock for you, won't it, tomorrow when you go back in? Been
I was there today.
Oh, yeah, public holiday wages for you.
That's why I was there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, legends, thanks for tuning in. I'll be away back on road to Gold Coast next week, but Croaks will be back in this seat, getting things rolling through. See you guys.
See ya.
Stay out. The Sydney Marathon, presented by ASICS, is Australia's marathon. Join us at the start line this year for an event you'll never forget. Register now at sydneymarathon.com.